Hello,
Hi,
hello,
everybody.
hello, hello.
Hello.
Hello, hello, hello. My hair is exceptionally ridiculous today.
Well, depending on your definition of ridiculous, I think it looks nice.
I think if you looked at my hair, the definition would be my hair, if I had to. It's hi, Frank. This weekend I saw Dial of Destiny and Flash a second time. Okay. And what did you think? Did you like them? Did they work for you?
I'll be silent at the moment.
Yes.
I'll weigh in just a little while.
You can weigh momentarily. You
We,
can momentarily weigh.
we went to a local theater the other night, multiplex.
Like people.
Like people.
Like a people does.
Paid my hard-earned money.
That's right.
Got a senior admission.
Hey.
And then realized I had forgotten to bring my medication along.
Yep.
Which I have to take on a very regimented schedule every 4 hours.
Yep.
And that time was coming up in like 30 minutes. So that didn't work. But it was unusually busy in the lobby. It was Thursday night. I said, "What's it?" Oh, Indiana Jones.
Oh, Indiana Jones. Oh, Indiana Jones. But you have seen a handful of new films.
Oh, yeah.
You have gotten to go and see a handful of new movies.
I was trying to catch up.
Yes.
With Asteroid Planet.
Yes. And then that's when you
which I
forgot your
missed.
medication.
That's right. Exactly. So.
We talked about this a little bit, you guys. So my dad has Parkinson's. Most of you know he has Parkinson's. And something that fascinates me is that the way that specifically this medication works, dopamine, is unlike most medications which have a half-life. When the dopamine goes out of your system, it's gone. It's gone.
The way my doctor described it to me when he first diagnosed me and gave me this.
Yeah.
The carb, it's dopamine. So he said, think of a car running out of gas.
Yep.
There's no half-life. It's just out
when
of
it's
gas.
gone, it's gone. Yeah. And so if my dad misses his medication, is late with his medication, anything like that, we can tell. We can tell pretty quickly, all things considered. And he will just shut down. It's like a toy. If you take out the batteries, he just sort of shuts down. And so if he doesn't take his medication on time, he can't function, unfortunately. So yeah, you went to the movie theater, forgot your medication because you haven't put it in the car.
Well, and I'm doing that today.
Are you?
And when your husband gets home with the other vehicle.
Yes. My husband is away working a very fancy wedding. My husband, who you will
we'll call him
Scott because that's his name, who you'll probably never see because he does not like being on camera, does not like doing any of these things. You will sometimes see him if you follow me on Instagram. I can sometimes get him into pictures or videos. But that aside, he does not like being on anything. He is a lighting guy, lighting tech. And so he tours.
A lighting director.
No, not always.
Well, but.
No.
On his business card.
Yeah, because that's what the business card
says. We're trying to spread the good word about.
But it depends on what he does. He works with light.
I know that.
As we like to say, he works with light bulbs and light bulb accessories. If you get that King of the Hill reference, I appreciate you even more. And so he works with a company and they do all kinds of stuff. They do premieres. Thank you, Becca. I love you. They do premieres. They do parties, but one of the big things that they do really expensive weddings, like really high-end weddings and really high-end bar and bat mitzvahs, which amuses me to no end. But he is currently working a very high-end wedding that happened last night. And he sent me pictures. It's just the stuff that they're able to do. Absolutely gorgeous.
They paint with light. That's what they do.
They do.
They paint a landscape.
And it's a lot of fun for us because we just ask for pictures and photos. We want pictures. I always want stories. He is the worst person for this because I'll say, let's say it's a $10 million wedding. And I'm going,
go ahead.
Oh my God, let's say it. I say, what did the bride look like? Did you get to see the ring? Tell me everything. Where was it? And he goes, she had a dress. I'm like, did you see the ring? No. Like they spent $10 million on this wedding. I'm going to need details. Nothing. He's the worst. You've seen someone here has seen Dial of Destiny 7 times.
Whoa.
7 times. My goodness. I'm going to guess you liked it. Otherwise, you're a glutton for punishment if you didn't. But now you and Mommy saw the new Indiana Jones film,
Right.
Dial of Destiny, together.
Yep.
And we're going to post his review today. You liked it.
I liked it for a while.
Uh-huh.
And then the while got longer
Yeah.
and longer, and the film became more and more repetitious.
Yeah.
And I really became impatient with
Yeah.
it. And it didn't justify to me why it had to be that long. It didn't justify it. And I'm not supposed to talk about the other one, which doesn't open until July 12th, the other big, about Mission Impossible, which I saw the other night.
Yeah.
But I can't compare them yet.
And my mother just flat out hated it. Indiana Jones just flat out hated it. And then you saw The Flash.
Yes.
Which you also did not love.
Again, why 2.5 hours? Why? There's no good answer.
That's right, Frank. Over length.
There's no good reason for it.
Yeah.
I liked a lot of things in The Flash. I liked Ezra Miller very much. And he actually winds up playing a dual role. This is not a spoiler. You probably read about it already if you're interested in that film. But he sort of meets himself in the time continuum somewhere. And so it's the early self and the more aware self who knows what's going to happen to the other self. That's not an easy thing to play. But he's up to that. He's up to doing that. And there's a lot of cool, of course, there's great visual effects, fantastic visual effects. But it's kind of like Everything Everywhere All at Once.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. And who asked for this multiverse? Did anybody fill out a form?
Yeah.
You went to the movies like a year ago or 5 years ago saying, I want more things to be happening at the same time.
Yeah.
More things to be happening at the same time.
Sarah says, thank you. I'm with you on the time factor of movies. Well, this is the thing. At a certain point, I just want to know when everyone decided that everything had to be over 2 hours.
Yeah.
Because it's one thing if you've got, like, let's say a Harry Potter, a Lord of the Rings, you're adapting from these massive books. At least there you can go, okay, you have a lot to get through. There's all these different things, and you have fans who know specifically what they're looking for. They want to make sure you hit all these notes. Fine. But at the same time, you have all of these other films where you're going, do you really need 2.5 hours? Certainly for comedies, you do wonder why the hell we're looking at 2.5 hours.
And now, mind you, it's not an arbitrary thing. I used to attribute this quote to Sam Goldwyn, but my friend David Pierce tells me it's really from Nicholas Skank, the head of Lowe's Incorporated, owners of MGM in the olden days. Someone asked him, how long is a good movie? And he replied, how long is a movie good? It says everything to me. I quote it all the time.
Yeah.
How long is a movie good? If a movie is good for 3 hours,
then it's 3 hours.
Let it be 3 hours. If a movie's only good for 64 minutes, then it should be 64 minutes long.
Yep.
And
that's the thing. So it isn't arbitrary. My dad doesn't immediately look at a film that's 3.5 hours and go, but it just makes you wonder why. Because I would say in general, almost every movie we watch, yes, Roger Ebert says that no good movie is too long and no bad movie is short enough. Yeah.
Well put.
It's just that, as I say, I feel like people have stopped editing themselves enough.
Yes. Yeah.
And now part of this, so we just did an interview with Sam Pollard.
Yeah.
who is a fantastic documentarian, but also a renowned editor. And we talked about the difference between editing on something like a moviola back in the day. If you don't know what a moviola is, please look it up. And then next time you hear someone sit up straight.
Yes, yes.
And then next time you hear someone complain about having to deal with Final Cut Pro, just show them a photo of a moviola and say, I'm sorry, what was that?
Yes, Sam was very articulate about this because he started as a film student in the late 60s, I would say, early 70s.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he and I are the same age.
You are
Yeah,
exactly. Remember
yeah.
1950?
So,
same, yeah.
so he studied at Baruch College in New York and got to work with film, motion picture film, as did his compatriot later partner, Spike Lee. He edited 5 or 6 of Spike's feature films. And there's something about the quality of the film running through your hands that gives you a feel, literally a feel for pace, for length.
But it's also two-part. The first being that if you're shooting on real film, and budgets were not crazy like they are today, you have to go in knowing what you need to get, not all of the wanting, but need. So you say, okay, I've got our day today is 15 pages. I need to make sure I hit this, and this. And as an editor, when you're physically cutting something, as in with scissors, you have to know, if I'm going to make this cut, this better be the right cut, because I can't just go back. I have to have the film printed again.
Yes, exactly.
If I want to go back in and cut it. So while we know technology is fantastic and it gives us so much, at the same time, your intention, that's the word that he kept using, your intention is different. Because if you can film on let's say you're someone working on an iPhone, you're a young person and you want to make movies, you start with your iPhone. Why not? You can film as long as you want. And you can edit it as many times as you want.
And you can say, go again.
Yeah, let's do this. Let's do this 5 more times. If you're working with real film and
everyone on the set knows you're working with film.
Real film.
Especially the actors.
Yep. We're not going to run it 12,000 times.
Everyone's going to be a little more attentive.
Yep.
A little more conscious of the seconds ticking by. And that's one reason that people who love film, like Christopher Nolan and Spike Lee and Steven Spielberg, were 2 of the last A-list directors to continue to shoot and edit on film. Spielberg said the reason he liked it was, and he's used the same film editor for decades, Michael Kahn, he knew that when he said to Michael, all right, make that cut, that he could then stroll around the studio grounds for about 10 minutes, clear his head, think, daydream, wander, and then come back and proceed. There is something to be said for taking time. We're all impatient. Look, I'm no different than anybody else. Now we're used to instantaneous everything.
Yeah.
And we get nervous or hot under the collar if something is taking 30 seconds instead of 10 seconds. But there's something to be said for patience.
It's just different. It's a different mentality. It's a different time. Someone else just asked if you've seen Elemental. Did you watch it?
Not yet.
No.
Again, there's these several films I'm trying to catch up with.
Yeah.
But you know what my wife and I did watch this week, and it engaged us in a way that
you binged, which you don't normally do.
Yeah. Well, over 4 nights. I have to say, this pulled us in a way that no feature film of this season has. The Bear. Everyone's writing about it and talking about it. The Bear is this wonderful series created by a man named Christopher Storer. It had only a 6-episode run the first season, but it got noticed. And it's on FX and Hulu. And the leading man is Jeremy Allen White, who you used to watch on.
Who I watched on Shameless for years, and he is fantastically talented.
And he's surrounded by very talented cast, and this season they sprinkled in some guest stars,
big guest stars,
some surprise
big
guest
stars.
stars. And I don't want to be the spoiler here.
Yeah.
But it's so real. It's kind of a heightened reality, I guess you'd say. But I have found for the last few days, I'm thinking about these people like they were real people in my life.
You were saying that last night. We were having dinner, and both my parents said that they were talking about it like they were talking about Friends.
Yeah.
As in real human friends, not the TV show.
Yeah.
And they both said it's like we feel like we know them because the characters are so well drawn. I have not gotten to watch. I started the first season, but again, because I watch everything with Daisy, if something sort of is too much or requires too much attention, I just can't watch it because I've usually got her running around. Yes, we'll talk about Alan Arkin in just a minute. But yeah, you guys really, it really got you.
This quality of television programming is so far superior to the run of the mill, the everyday.
Yeah.
That it grabbed us and wouldn't let us go. It would not relinquish its hold on us. And that's why we had to finish it.
Yeah.
And 10 episodes this year.
Yeah. Hi, Kevin. Yeah, we talked a little bit about indie, but neither of my parents, my mom really didn't like it. My dad liked it for a while.
Okay. So Indiana Jones, toward the beginning, well, the opening sequence, again, this is not a spoiler. If you don't know this yet, I don't think I'm the one who's going to reveal it to you when no one else has. They de-age Harrison Ford.
Yes, someone just asked what you thought of the de-aging.
Miraculous, astonishing.
But again, mommy said it just felt weird.
And weird.
My mom said it just felt weird to her.
It's weird. It is. I mean, they've done it before. This may be the best, yet. But also, it's the best because it's action. It's not him sitting at a dining table.
Victoria says spooky. Well, that's the thing with all of the de-aging thing. It's kind of spooky. It works. The problem is it worked when they first started doing it because it tended to be for very short periods.
Right.
So if you had a second of I know this is a random one to throw in, but Jon Voight in Lara Croft. Just because it's one that comes to my mind where they de-aged him slightly, and it was a what's it called? Montage. It was a montage. Okay. And so you sort of saw him for a second and he was talking and it was fine. And then it was gone. So for a second you kind of went, whoa, they made him look like a baby. But then it was gone. So, and it worked in the story. No problem. Now, when you actually sit with characters who have a scene where they're de-aged, it's just strange. Even if it's done well, it's still just a bit strange.
Yeah, it was in Captain America too.
Yeah, oh God, yeah. Well, especially when they shrink him.
Yeah.
When they make him all skinny. And yeah, that's a weird one.
Boy. Anyway, then they have a wonderfully exciting chase through narrow streets.
Yeah, which is in the trailer.
European city.
It's in the trailer a bit.
Well, there's 3 of them.
Oh, sorry.
And I forget the order. And one of them, he's on a motor scooter, and she's on something. I can't keep track of all of this. I can't keep track. I can't be expected to keep track.
No one will hold it against you.
If one narrow street, almost hit this, jump out of the way.
Yeah.
Sequence is good. Why not do it again?
And again.
And again. Why not? Because
once was fine.
Once was fine.
Once was plenty.
And you can engineer it now so well.
Yeah.
I mean, there's same in. No, I can't talk about the other film.
No, you can't talk about it. Peter says it's only a matter of time before they start using the digital technology to bring back dead actors like James Dean and Marilyn Monroe. They already do stuff like that. There's the commercial. There was it Gene Kelly with a vacuum.
Fred.
Was it?
I think
there was a Gene Kelly one as well. They're already doing it, and they did it with Star Wars. They've done it twice with Star Wars. They did it with Carrie Fisher, and then who was the other actor that passed away that they did it
Peter
with?
Cushing.
Peter Cushing. They did it there too.
Peter Cushing gave Peter Cushing gave a real performance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's not alive.
I know.
It's very strange.
Yeah, Larry, the Irishman worked because they all made it work.
Yeah. Again, it's not that it doesn't work depending on what you're watching. It's just kind of, it can be distracting. It can be distracting. Somebody else mentioned Benjamin Button for sure. But at least with that, that's the whole sort of purpose of it.
Yes.
Is you're accepting that there's a baby-sized Brad Pitt.
You're buying into the... There's
a little baby Brad Pitt running around. But yeah, sorry, I just want to make sure I get to everybody. So somebody here is asking, have we seen Scarlet? Beautiful French film we saw this week at the New Art, the opposite of everything you're talking about in length and content. I have not. Have you read about that one yet?
No,
but I will write it down, and I'm glad to have your recommendation.
Always glad.
This one's a Francophile. He loves anything French.
Mm-hmm.
So that's definitely something to look up. Thank you for sharing. Patrick is asking if we have a cameo. We don't do cameo. I've thought about it. I don't know if it's weird. To me, it's weird to price yourself. You know what I mean? Like, it's a little weird to be like, you want to...
that cameo.
Yeah.
Oh,
you want a video of me saying hi? Give me $20. It's just weird.
This weekend, in fact, there was a Hollywood autograph and collectible show.
Yeah.
At the Burbank Marriott,
which they
Airport
do quite
Marriott.
a bit.
And we went to one many years ago.
Yeah.
Because the fellow who was running the show, Ray Courts, and his wife,
legendary Ray Courts, his shows,
had done me a good turn.
And
he'd asked me if I would come and set up a table and do signings. I said no, but I'll come and bring my new book.
Yeah.
And sell copies of the book and sign that.
And then he also just signed anything anybody else
and
brought.
Then somebody came up
Anybody brought something else, he signed
somebody
it.
Somebody bought an older book of mine. Yeah, let me sign it. He said, what do I owe you? I said, nothing.
Nothing. You bought the book.
He was stunned. What do you mean? I said, no, I'm not selling my autograph. I'm selling my book.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to sign it for you.
And he took pictures and all that kind of.
Yeah. People came by with 8x10s,
Yeah. If you'd like us to say something to you here, we're happy to do that. Very happy to do that. No, it just, as I say, I'm not against it. And I know people love it. People absolutely love being able to do it. It's just, it's the pricing thing that is just odd to me to sort of go, you want me? Give me monies. I don't know. But let's see. Hi, Mr. Maltin. I came across a podcast recently on Jack Benny, never a bad idea, in which I recall you mentioned your admiration of Ronald Colman. I came across a set of business cards for something called the St. George Club, apparently a collection of fellow Colman admirers. Huh. I have an image to share. Can't seem to paste here in the comments, though. I don't know if you can with the lives. But I think you can just post on his Facebook page, or you could tweet at him or anything like that. But that's really interesting. My mother is the deep Colman fan. We all there's nothing not to like about Ronald Colman, but Alice would murder for Ronald Colman. Very quickly murder for Ronald Colman.
Anyhow, The Bear.
You loved it.
Directed by Christopher Storer, created, largely written and directed by Christopher Storer, a man whose work I'm unfamiliar with other than this brilliant series. And if you watch starting the episode 1, season 1, be aware that it starts in chaos. You're in a maelstrom, in a very high-end New York City, I think it's New York City, restaurant kitchen. And he deliberately wanted to start you in the midst of chaos. And then,
which, if you remember, the first episode's the same.
Yeah.
Of the first season.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I thought you were saying the second season.
No.
Sorry. Yeah, because it overwhelmed me.
Each episode reveals more of the story, like peeling an onion.
Like peeling an onion.
Yeah, like that.
Like an onion. You're still sitting crooked, you know that?
Oh, no.
What am I going to do with you? What am I going to do with you? There you go. See, your shoulders can be even. I will do this till the day I die. I will fix you till the day I die.
Okay.
Leonard, have you seen the new documentaries on Rock Hudson, Rose Styron? Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
And Midnight Cowboy.
I've seen the Rock Hudson. I watched it just after watching the Mary Tyler Moore documentary on HBO, which I thought was outstanding. Really good, heartfelt, wonderful footage, a great point of view. The Rock Hudson I liked somewhat less because though they cover his career and private life, they're really interested in the private life more than the career, much more than the career, and we lose the thread of how he burnished his acting skills, got better parts, things like that. And what they do is they try to use clips from movies to cover exposition points, and they found, telling lines of dialogue that, kind of contrast or reflect what's going on in his life at the time. So it's not uninteresting, but I wasn't crazy about it. No, I've not seen the film on Rose Styron.
I'm trying to think of what else you've watched. There's been so much lately. My brain is mush. I can't begin to keep up. Just to go back to Elemental for a second. Does Elemental interest you guys? Because I got to be honest, it doesn't look very good to me. It's not making me want to see it. And a friend of ours, who I can't name, but who's literally a Disney legend, he said that his biggest issue is that part of everyday life is that the elements work together.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we live, is the elements working together. So he felt that it was a strange thing to separate them again, which I just thought was an interesting way to look at it. And because that's how his mind works anyway, I thought, yeah, that is sort of a strange thing. You thought Elemental was average. Yeah, I haven't heard anybody say it's awful. I just also haven't had anybody tell me that I should see it, kind of like that. Do you know anything about the TCM? Oh,
TCM.
Oh, the
big,
whole TCM
big topic.
Kerfuffle.
Big topic.
Kerfuffle.
Well, all right. To get to the nub of this right away, the good news, and there's not a lot of good news, but the good news is that David Zaslav, the potentate of Warner Brothers Discovery now, rehired Charlie Tavish, the head of programming.
And if you have to find one positive, and there's only one to find, that's the one.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Charlie is the heart and soul of that network. And I want to append to that the fact I've never met anyone working for that network who wasn't nice and who wasn't engaged. It's a terrific staff, a terrific staff of people.
And we've known many of them for a very long time. In one case, our friend Yakov, who is the one sort of in charge of the backlot, Yakov Friedman, he actually worked at Entertainment Tonight. I was, I think, ET, but also Secrets Out, which is how we met, the show my dad was doing.
No.
Yes.
Hot Ticket.
You're right. Sorry. Hot Ticket. That's what I meant. Too many shows on Hot Ticket. And he and I used to sit together. I've known him since I was 16. He's a wonderful man and thankfully still employed. The TCM stuff is
so. Are they going to continue doing a festival? I don't know. Jesse doesn't know, and I don't think anybody knows.
I don't think anybody knows.
They did fire Genevieve McGillicuddy, who was the director of the festival. Could someone else do her job? Yes, in theory. Could they rehire her just to do that? Yes, I suppose in theory, but it's not a promising sign that they let her go. And this is all to do with saving money. It's all to do with saving money.
I try my best not to curse here because I don't think it's polite, but I'm going to say the whole thing is bullshit. And I'll tell you, without him losing his mind, that I'm going to say something I'm not supposed to say. The hardest thing for me is that it's all about saving money until you want to spend money. And this is what makes me crazy, is that you're going to cut all of these jobs, because Warner Brothers for months now has just been firing. Why?
every
single department,
Yeah.
you name it, top to bottom.
no
firing.
one has been immune.
And it's been horrible. And the worst part of that is it's not like they're firing people and then figuring out a new way no, they're just giving more work to the people who are still there. So the people who are still there are being repaid that they are still employed by saying, here's 17 times the amount of work you used to do. You now have to do all these people's jobs. Ideal. But the thing to me is that when you want to spend money, you spend it. So don't pretend like you're saving all this money when you then have this Barbie campaign. He's had to listen to my rant on this.
Yeah.
They're spending such an obscene amount of money to promote Barbie right now. An obscene amount of money.
Which is, if you don't know, it's an upcoming big summer movie.
You can't not know. It's everywhere.
Big summer movie.
Yeah.
With a pre-sold IP. That's the lingo. Intellectual property. Starring Margot Robbie as Barbie and Ryan Gosling as Ken.
But they're all named Barbie and Ken, so it's a bit confusing.
Yeah. And it's being directed.
But the whole cast, like, it's an incredible cast of people.
It's been directed by Greta Gerwig.
Written and directed by Greta Gerwig. Written and directed by Greta Gerwig.
So there's every reason to be hopeful that this will be a fun movie. And I hope it is.
I hope it is.
And if it is, I hope it makes truckloads of money.
So they will complain slightly less. Not that they will, but what makes me crazy is they are spending so much money to promote this movie. So much money to promote this movie. And they don't need to. They have some of the biggest actors. I mean, Ryan Gosling, women, especially women, go nuts for that man. Will watch him in anything he does, right? You have Margot Robbie, who's so hot, and I'm actually, but also just in a general sense, people will go see her. Simu Liu, like the whole cast, huge people with massive followings. You then have Greta Gerwig, who people do love, and people were going to go see her movie. So you have the indie crowd of people who say, oh, it's a Greta Gerwig movie. I'm intrigued. You have the more mainstream audience looking at the entire cast saying, oh, okay, I want to go watch these people.
And you have and
then it's Barbie. So people immediately.
You have a seemingly family-friendly movie.
I don't know that that's true. I don't know that that's how they've been advertising that.
No,
I'm just saying that people know the name Barbie. That's what I'm going off of, is that as soon as this was announced many months ago, people were already talking about it. They've done several viral campaigns online that have been all over the place. And it just kills me that they're spending so much money on this while firing all these people. It just makes me crazy.
Well, David Zaslav, it must be said, was brought in by our friends at AT&T, which is surely one of the world's worst companies to deal with as a customer, I mean. And he was tasked with losing $350 billion from their budget, their operating budget. How do you cut $350 billion from anything?
But also, how did you manage to spend that much? How did you go over your budget by that much?
How'd you get in that big a hole? Yeah.
Because I'll be honest with you, most people have some debt. Don't know many who have that much debt.
Yeah.
Good grief. What do you think of Beau is Afraid and Ari Aster in general? Have you seen Beau is Afraid?
No.
I don't get to see anything because of my
behind
kid.
And I'm tired of apologizing.
Yeah.
But
Ari Aster, I think, is an interesting writer, director person. A lot of his stuff to me goes too far. Like it pushes, but I find a lot of it interesting. Yeah. That's kind of the best way I can describe it. Ryan is saying, have you been a dedicated viewer of TCM since it started?
Yes. And let me say that again. Yes, absolutely. It's almost like a wallpaper in our bedroom.
And we're hardly the only ones.
It's our go-to. It helped get us through the pandemic.
Yeah, like many people.
It's just a destination that I would hate to lose. I don't even want to picture, because I can't. I don't want to picture a world without TCM now that we've had it
and
got spoiled by it. But they had 90 people on staff, and now they only have 20.
Mm-hmm.
So it's tough.
Mm-hmm.
It's a tough road
So,
to hoe.
Initially, they said initially they were saying that the film festival's gone, the cruise is gone. Like they were saying all that.
They're still promoting the cruise
Now, no, but for this year,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
people have already they're purchased, they're going. But in general, they had said it's probably not going to happen. But I don't think anybody knows really. I really, really, really hope that they do something. I don't know. It's just a mess, and it's been really hard because we know all these people. And so it's not just the channel, it's our friends losing their jobs left and right. And speaking to the on-air talent, we're friends with all of those people, and just talking to them, and they're so frustrated. It's just a mess. It's an absolute mess.
Okay.
And yeah, that's
Alan Arkin.
Alan Arkin. Oy.
Well,
What a loss.
Again, to look at the positive, he lived a good long life,
and he gave us
and
phenomenal performances.
And he was active right to the end of that, or
Mm-hmm.
virtually to the end of that good long life. He, I guess, his most recent activity was being in the Kaminsky Method.
It is, yeah.
Chuck Lorre's,
Yeah.
very funny, very perceptive series, co-starring Michael Douglas and Alan Arkin are the co-stars.
Mm-hmm.
And Alan Arkin didn't come back for the final season, but his presence was so strong, it was still felt. There's nothing he couldn't do, really. He had, bless you, he had a background in folk singing, the folk music scene. He's a co-writer of the Banana Boat song.
Mm-hmm.
This is stupefying, or at least the American version of the Banana Boat song. And it was with his group, the Terriers, that he made his film debut in a film called Calypso Heatwave, which was the Sam Katzman specials. It's a story for another time.
I love it so much.
And then he went to Chicago and worked with the Second City improv group there, and gained and refined his skills, which he put to good use for the rest of his career. He could be nasty. He could play nasty. He could play quiet, like in The Heart is a Lonely Hunter, which is a beautiful film. He could do dialects. He played the Russian submarine, sailor in The Russians Are Coming, The Russians Are Coming.
Yeah.
And then toward the latter part of his career, he could play characters with a capital C, like the guy in the VW bus in Little Miss Sunshine, or he and John Goodman as the Greek chorus in Argo. And I saw him at a luncheon after Argo, and I went over and I just said, every one of your lines sticks it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like each wisecrack lands, boom, just as it's supposed to.
All of you are listing all of the things that you love him in. I love The Russians Are Coming, one of my family's favorite films. I like Alan Arkin best as the chief in Get Smart and in The Rocketeer. Arkin was on Sesame Street with his wife during the second season. Ken loved Alan in Indian Summer.
A film I like very much.
It's everybody's just quoting.
If any of you haven't seen City Island, Raymond DeFilitis film,
a small film that you love,
starring Andy Garcia, Arkin has a wonderful role.
Yeah.
Supporting role. He's just so good in it, and it has sort of it's kind of a foreshadowing of the Kaminsky Method, but in a funny way.
I'm thinking of buying Arkin's The In-Laws during the current Criterion sale. Hey, if there's a sale on Criterion, get everything.
Right. Don't hesitate.
There's a sale.
Don't hesitate. Your mom watched In-Laws when it was on.
Yeah.
A week or two ago. It's a film you can watch again.
Yeah. And no, again, everybody's listing stuff and your favorites, of course. He's so talented and so real. I have loved reading. Obviously, all the people that he worked with have posted remembrances. Even what's her face from Little Miss Sunshine, who played the little girl in Little Miss Sunshine.
Oh, Bridget.
Yep. Gimme. It's this lack of sleep is doing real well for me. I realize you're all going to pop up and say her name, Abigail Breslin. Abigail Breslin posted about how the way he treated her on set and cared for her on set during Little Miss Sunshine.
Oh, that's nice to hear.
The way that he chose to take care of her. She said, he became a grandpa. He became her grandpa, and he was so aware. What she mentioned in this story is that at one point she started crying. She's supposed to be crying, and he made them stop because he thought she was genuinely upset. He yelled "cut," and she said, "I'm acting," and he continued. But she said, that was just how he was. He really genuinely cared. And I always say to actors, the way that they treat young co-stars, when I've gotten to see them with young co-stars at events, and it's just it's beautiful. I got to tell this to Robert Downey Jr. Watching him, the little girl who played his daughter in the Marvel films and the recent ones, he was so aware of her. We don't get to go to a lot of premieres. We went to that premiere, this is a couple of years ago. And I watched him with her. He kept bringing her to the front when everyone was speaking. He picked her up. He just did everything to make her feel very special. And I got to see him after the fact. And I said, that little girl is going to have the most incredible memories because of you. She is going to look back at this and be so grateful that you chose to take the time to make her feel like that. And I have such respect for those people.
I only interviewed him once, more than a hello, but it was a good interview, good conversation. And he was very self-effacing. I mean, he wasn't falsely modest. He knew his value. He knew that, he was good at what he did.
Yeah.
But he wore it lightly.
Yeah.
He wore it lightly. He thanked me for giving him good reviews. It's like, well, duh.
Just kindness, right?
Yeah.
So we asked you folks what movies you're looking forward to, what movies that are coming out. And of course, we got a couple of Barbies, a couple of Oppenheimers. That's a big one. I know a lot of people are very excited to see. Mostly that. Some Mission Impossibles, which you did see, but you can't talk about. It's funny. I feel like a number of the movies that are coming out have very specific audiences. Like Oppenheimer, all of my nerdy film friends are just like, yes, let's go. They cannot wait.
That story has yet to be written. I mean, Cillian Murphy is a wonderful actor.
Yeah.
And we've enjoyed watching him in Peaky Blinders all these years. And he was in Dunkirk for Christopher Nolan.
He's been in so much. I think I've seen everything he's ever been in, honestly.
But on date night, are people really going to go see a movie about the father of the atomic bomb?
My friends will. My friends are all very excited about it.
Well,
I've got film nerd friends.
Yeah, you have film nerd friends.
No, it'll be interesting. It'll definitely be interesting. We'll see sort of what folks are looking forward to. Do you think it may have been a mistake having the last Indiana Jones movie having its early viewing at Cannes? I think the early mixed word of mouth from that screening may have had something to do with the lighter than expected box office results. I don't agree, only because that's one of those movies where if you're going to see it, you're going to see it. Kind of like Mission Impossible. To me, there are people who are going to see Mission Impossible regardless of what anyone says, because they love those movies. They want to go see them. Same thing with I'm telling you, I'm too tired. Lord help me. Michael Bay.
Oh, the Transformers.
There you go. Transformers is another one where I have friends who are just going to see it. I know people who are going to go see it no matter what. It's what they feel like doing. To me, what negative reviews do is it takes someone like me, for example, where I don't really care about Mission Impossible. I have nothing against it. I just don't really care. I don't really care about the new Indiana Jones movie. Just not my thing. If somebody like me hears that it's great, then my arm is twisted and I'm going to go see it. But I believe that the set audiences that exist, them, you're really not going to do much. I do think that's why they're holding screenings of Barbie. They're really, by holding, I mean like they're not having them. There's been one screening so far for the junkets, and there will be screenings right before it premieres, right before it enters the real world. And that either means that they are not sure it's going to be good, or they don't want any spoilers getting out. And so they're holding it as long as they possibly can. And there are a number of movies that do this. A lot of the Marvel films do it too, where they don't have too many screenings leading up because they want to make sure that nothing gets out. But it's interesting. You know, are you looking forward to Oppenheimer?
Curious.
Yeah.
Curious.
Yeah.
I am not a Christopher Nolan fan.
Yeah.
And,
we know that.
And I admire and respect him, but I'm not a fan.
Yeah.
I'll leave it at that for the moment. But yeah, I'm curious.
Yeah.
I'm curious for sure.
Ken says, looks like the issues with WB and TCM are straightening out, or are they?
No idea. No genuine idea. Rehiring Charlie Tabish is a
great
giant,
first step,
a leap in the right direction.
Great first step.
But hiring him and giving him no money to work with, or hiring him and giving him no staff to support what he needs to get done.
Wait, you need a staff? You need a staff to do things?
So, you know.
Which is why I do love that they said, you're not going to notice any difference. Everybody watching the channel, everything's going to be the same. You're not even going to notice it. You fired the people that schedule the movies. You fired everybody. What? How? Again, I'm not angry. It's fine. Lord. Hi from St. Lou. Looking forward to Barbie and Oppenheimer. Do you feel that Tom Cruise is honoring the great silent movie thrill comic actors in his Mission Impossible films? Because he does all of the stuff himself.
No, not particularly. He's doing what Tom Cruise has been doing for 20 years now. And
he's Tom Cruise.
It's no spoiler to say he runs a lot in this movie. As he so often does.
Likes running.
And believe me, no one looks better running than Tom Cruise. Boy, that guy can run.
That's so
funny. And he runs full out.
He runs like he means it. That's for sure. He runs
like he means it.
Happy Sunday, Maltons. Happy Sunday to you, Jason. I really enjoyed Mark Searby's article on the 1970s Three Musketeer films. I'm so glad that you did. And looking forward to seeing the new French films with Vincent Cassel and Eva Green. Was wondering if you have had any other favorite costume.
Eva Green? Really?
Yeah. That's how I've always heard
the most beautiful woman on planet?
I mean,
Eva Green? Yeah.
She's crazy as hell.
Yeah.
She's crazy as hell. But she's real pretty and real talented.
Yeah.
But my God. Just nuts, but bless her. Are there any swashbuckling films you'd recommend?
Swashbuckling films.
You do love a good swashbuckler. I'll say that.
I do. Well, you know, if you haven't seen the Douglas Fairbanks swashbucklers, his very first one was The Mark of Zorro, 1920, and it's because it was the first. It's the least elaborate. It's the simplest. It's certainly the shortest. And that's still my favorite, I think.
Is any Zorro better than Guy Williams, though? That's the real question.
Well, this is the silent film era.
I know.
And Doug has a great personality.
I know. No, he's fantastic. You know me. I love Guy Williams. I think we were just talking about this because I said, can you imagine Guy Williams walking into your office? You're a casting director and you meet him and you just go, yes, please.
Douglas Fairbanks,
Fox.
the brightest star of the silent movie era, who inspired a line of cigars.
This is so good. So good. Oh, yeah. There you go. Have you read the Guy Williams biography?
No, I haven't. I can't elaborate on that.
Yeah, that's all I got now. I just love him. I love all the behind the scenes photos you can find of him, especially when he takes his kids to Disneyland. Those are some of my favorites.
This is a chain link, I guess, bracelet.
Yeah.
With players from the silent era, but I have to squint and take off my glasses.
Do you want me to help you?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm not proud. I will
That's all
take.
right. We've got Dorothy Gish, Myrtle Stedman. It's hard to read. Sorry. Ruth Rowland, Nance O'Neill, Viola Davis, Iva Shepherd, Vivian Blackburn, Lois Meredith, Lillian Gish, and Mae Murray. Also, this person has the tiniest wrist I've ever seen in my life.
Maybe it's for a child.
I think it must be, because it is absolutely the tiniest little thing.
Well, Ruth Rowland was a serial star.
Look at this. Who does this fit? Who does this fit? Tell me. Daisy. It'll fit Daisy.
I love stuff from the silent era. Here is a giant pencil.
Sorry.
Use this.
Here is a giant pencil.
Fox Pictures. Jimmy Granger Week, June 10th to June 16th. Compliments of Fox Film Corporation.
June 16th is a good day.
Yes. Her birthday.
That's my birthday. Today is Adrienne Norman's birthday. She posted. Floyd Norman's incredible wife, who is one hell of an artist, let me tell you. It is her birthday today. And one of my favorite people.
We got a sneak peek of a short. I don't think we can talk about it too much, but we can acknowledge its existence.
Sure.
Called Once Upon a Studio. I don't want to describe it. It's like when you hear a great joke that you want it repeated exactly right.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to try to describe this film.
No, it's just great. It's just great.
It is a heartfelt tribute to truly the magic that Walt Disney and his team created and continue to create.
Yeah.
After 100 years.
Yeah.
And I don't know how long it runs. 15 minutes?
Not long. Not that long.
10 to 15 minutes.
Long enough for us to run around the theater 6 times.
Yeah.
That was.
And it's the third time I've seen it, and it brings me to tears every single time.
Yeah. I should mention, Jason mentioned Mark Searby's article. A friend of ours named Mark Searby, he is giving us about once a month articles to post on Maltin on Movies. On the LeonardMaltin.com page. And it's covering sort of the British stuff that's going on, whether it's new releases or talking about older films that have just been re-released. And he's doing a wonderful job. Hi, Leonard and Jesse. It's Canada Day weekend. So I wanted to know, what is your favorite movie directed by a Canadian? Also, have you ever been to Canada? If so, any places you enjoyed? Canada is gorgeous.
I've been to Canada many times, starting when I was a kid, because my dad, who was an immigration judge working for what was then called the Immigration Nationalization Service, INS. Anyway, he was an immigration judge for 20, worked for the U.S. government. And he had to go to towns in upstate New York to take depositions. So I knew every town that had a prison in New York State. Auburn, Elmira, West Coxsackie,
That's a name.
Yes. And so then he'd turn it into a vacation. We'd drive across the border into Canada, we go to Niagara Falls and such. And then in later years, I've been to film festivals. We went to Ottawa for their animation festival many years ago. Alice and I did. You came with us. We went to Vancouver.
We did Vancouver. We did a cruise that went through Canada. It was Alaska into Canada. And we got to see Nova Scotia. We got to stop in Montreal and Quebec.
Prince Edward
and
Island.
Prince Edward Island, which is fantastic.
Halifax,
all over the place. We got to go to the Calgary Film Festival
That's
not
right.
that long
That's
ago.
right.
We've been to Toronto for the film festival. Canada is an absolutely incredible place. Favorite director? I don't know.
My favorite Canadian film is is Denis Arcand's The Barbarian Invasions. It's a brilliant, somewhat cerebral, and thoroughly satisfying film that was actually a sequel, a follow-up to an earlier film he had made about a group of friends and how time and life affects their interrelationships.
Yeah.
So that and also, of course, I'm a great fan of the National Film Board of Canada, and I love a lot of their shorts, their animated short subjects.
Yeah, it's an amazing place. Never a bad time. Norman Jewison came from Canada. Yes, indeed, he did. Yeah, there's a lot. I've never thought about it. I don't think I think about directors in terms of where they're from. But yeah.
I liked a film that was an early credit for Denis.
It's Dennis. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Look up CRAZY. C period R period A period Z period Y period.
C period R period E.
Crazy.
Cray. Why don't you just say that? 2005?
Yeah.
I like the first thing that comes up is the definition of the word crazy. If you told me that, I would just look somewhere else. Hang on.
Oh, so you're getting the Patsy Cline song.
Yes.
No, that's not it.
Many other things than the word crazy. Hang on. Talk about good television.
Yeah.
Jesus. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able. There you go. Here, this one. Here you go.
Yeah.
Crazy. You're looking for this?
Jean-Marc Vallée.
There you go.
Who's gone on to do other good stuff.
Other good stuff.
Last week, we gave you a glimpse of these very special collectibles, which were made by
telling you, it's all going real well for us.
I know. Vernon Kilmes.
There you go. You're
Vernon Kilmes. Vernon
Kilmes.
And we showed you Victor McLaughlin statue that got us
hooked.
Hooked is the word. This is.
Then there's this fella. Then there's this fella right here. Hello.
You might think that's Wallace Beery in Viva Villa, but in fact, it's Wallace Beery in The Bad Man.
Approved by Wallace Beery.
And approved by Wallace Beery. And sculpted by Janice Petit.
Yep.
These were all done in 1940-41. And so it's films of that. No, Northwest Mounted Police was 1940s.
I hate when you argue with yourself.
Yeah. Anyway, this is a particularly colorful and interesting one.
Yes, and large.
And large.
And very large. He lives up on the mantle behind over there with Victor.
With a lot of earthquake wax.
With a lot of earthquake wax. He and Victor McLaughlin live up there quite happily. Oh man. Yeah, I always say this, I love your stuff. I love it because I love the history of it, and I'm always amazed at just how well so much of it ages.
Yeah.
Like it's mind-blowing to think about how old certain things are.
Yeah. That is until Daisy.
Listen, my child's a child, okay? So she's doing child things like breaking stuff. It's your fault that you left breakable things in the reach of a child, okay? It's not her fault. She's small and she likes to touch stuff. No, the funniest thing is running behind her going, "No, Daisy, that's Grandpa's toy. That's Grandpa's stuffed animal." She does not care if it's Grandpa's stuffed animal. She wants it for herself.
I opened my sock drawer today and was reminded I had this. It doesn't take a lot to make me happy.
No.
You know?
But you like festive socks.
Yes.
You like festive everything. Big fan. I will just, and if Ryan and several other people mentioned the Richard Sherman videos that I posted. Yes, we got to celebrate. His birthday is June 12th. Mine is the 16th. And we try to celebrate together to do something. We used to be able to do dinners. But as he's gotten older and it's a bit more difficult, we sort of do stuff as a bigger group now. And being with his son and his daughter, who are so wonderful, is always such a good time. But yeah, celebrating Richard. There's never a bad time to celebrate Richard. And to be then surrounded by our friends who happen to be phenomenal Disney folks is just, it's very, 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 very lucky. And so I got to take Daisy over to the Disney lot, which is one of the, we've told you this before, one of the prettiest lots that exists. And then we saw Floyd Norman and his amazing wife, Adrian, and we saw Tony Baxter, Eric Goldberg, who else? A whole bunch of people. Pete Docter flew down. Pete Docter is so nice. He's such a lovely, lovely guy. He was there, just a whole heap of interesting people. Mindy.
Mm-hmm. Mindy Johnson.
Mindy Johnson, just lots and lots and lots of wonderful folks. And yeah, we got to celebrate Richard and have cake. And John Musker drew the most fantastic poster that they also put on the cake. Just perfection. Richard looks good. He really does. He's still here. Ryan had asked if you ever got to meet Robert when he was still alive.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, mm-hmm. I remember that you did. I never did.
I had them sign my copy of their fantastic coffee table book, Waltz Time,
mm-hmm.
a pun that not everybody gets. WALT', Waltz Time.
Mm.
But in musical terms,
waltz, like the dance.
Like the 3/4 time is waltz time.
Yeah. Yes. Oh yeah. Howard Green, of course. Howard's the one who puts everything together. He is the maestro and he's amazing. Dick Van Dyke was supposed to be there. He had a cold, which is just rude. It's like he's 96, just come out anyway. No, Alan Menken wasn't there. It really was just close friends. It was just some of his close friends. But yeah, it's wonderful.
And we feel very lucky to be included.
Yeah,
we don't take that for granted.
No, but watching Daisy run around with everybody is just such a gift.
I should say.
Watching her, I was going to say, watching her run around where I used to run around because I grew up on that lot. So I have pictures of little baby me on the Disney lot, and now Daisy's doing it. So.
Last Saturday, I attended the Hyperion Historical Alliance convention. Was a gathering.
Mm-hmm.
The HHA, as it's known, is a consortium of authors and scholars and hangers-on
mm-hmm.
who are involved, attracted to, working for Walt Disney or the Walt Disney Company. And the amount of knowledge in this one room is extraordinary. It's indescribable. And many of these people have become friends over
mm-hmm.
the years. And they're publishing their own books and monographs now with the permission of the Disney Company,
mm-hmm.
always. And with the input from the Disney legal department,
mm-hmm.
always.
Always.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Becky Klein. Becky Klein was there, of course. And
yes.
It's always fun to hear what she has coming up next from the archive.
And what she has coming up next, Becky, who took Dave Smith's, filling Dave Smith's shoes, so to speak, as the archivist. She and Paula Sigmund Lowry did a presentation about the new Disney 100 worldwide exhibition. It has opened in Munich
mm-hmm.
and it's opened in Philadelphia.
Because when you think of two places, first ones pop into your head are Munich and Philadelphia.
It's at the Franklin Institute in Philadelphia. If you live anywhere near there,
go there.
And then as you're leaving the gift
go there
shop,
for all of us.
Buy the catalog.
Yeah.
Because the catalog
you can only buy it there.
Is only available there. Becky assures me I'm going to get a copy.
I want to believe her.
At least.
I do want to believe her.
I wrote the piece that they use apparently as a foreword. And I'm very
That's
proud of
promising
that.
For you.
Very proud of that.
Hopefully you'll get to see it one day.
Yeah.
Fingers
now
crossed.
there's not to be confused with a new coffee table book, Disney 100, which is another book with goodies from the archive.
Yeah. Nick saying, one last question. What do you think of Disney Plus finally adding more Disney shorts? It's great.
It's about time.
Add as much as you want. Keep adding. That's the point, is people want to have these things. They want to see it. Yes, Van Eaton has a big Disneyland exhibit going on that's filling up. It's filling up an old Bed Bath & Beyond in Burbank. We're going to go see it. We're going to go visit at some point. But it's just so funny. Is there any chance of Becky and the Walt Disney Archive staff doing a Taschen book about Disneyana? I don't know. I mean, they've done other stuff with Taschen, so I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, but I have no idea.
I don't know. I mean, we love Taschen, obviously. Who doesn't love Taschen? Yeah. Marcy was also there. Yeah, Marcy. No, it was tons. As I say, it was some of the best people. And anytime you get to spend with Richard is priceless. And watching him with Daisy is my absolute favorite thing in the world. Because even though I know she's not going to remember, I will be able to show her and remind her that she got to spend time with him, because he's just one of the most special people on the planet. That said, next week, we will see you all next week. It's not, or are you gone?
No, I'm here.
When are you going to San Francisco?
Wednesday.
What day is that?
Or Thursday.
Or Thursday. When are you coming home?
Sunday.
Which is when we do this.
But not next week. Following.
The following. Sure?
Yes.
What day is this?
I'm very sure.
What day
Today
is this? So this Sunday we'll see you. This coming Sunday we'll see you.
July 2nd.
Yes. The following Sunday, my dad will be in San Francisco at the Silent Film Festival. But yeah. Friends, we'll see you next Sunday. Everybody be well. I wish you more rest than what I get. I'm kidding. I love my child. She's wonderful. I just really also love her more if she let me sleep. As you like to say, be kind.
Be kind.
We'll see you later.